Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jagmohan Singh and today we begin with our first topic, which is from a class 11 of CBSE and ICSE and other state boards. Well, the name of the topic is Units and Dimensional Analysis, and in this today's video we will discuss part 1 of this topic. Well, to begin with this topic, let us start with introduction. Well, we all know what is physics. First question is what is physics? As we know, physics is a study of nature. In physics, we study laws of nature by using various physical quantities. What are these physical quantities? Are mass, length, force, momentum, and acceleration, ration, etc. And in physics, we usually start with measuring these physical quantities. So, in a sense, we can say that physics is a quantitative study of physical quantities. And to measure these physical quantities, we need to set some standards. These standards are known as units. For example, to measure length, we can use unit foot, meter, or yard. And also, in ancient times, used its hand and various other things like sticks for measuring various distances and also to measure length. Similarly, now consider the example of weight. Weight can also be measured in various units. For example, pound, kilogram, and in ancient Indian system, we use wheat berry and rati seeds as a measure for a weight. So, what is the units? So, units are a unique names, sorry, unique names which are given to measures of these physical quantities. Quantities. As I told you earlier, for length, these units are foot, meter, yard, and for weight, these units are pound, kilogram, grams, etc. But to avoid confusion, we need some standard units which can be used by everyone, because if every person which are situated on a earth use its own units use his own unit, then during calculation or checking the results a great confusion will arise. So therefore, in a organization has created to set a standard for units. The name of the organization is General Conference on Weight and Measures. The headquarters of this conference is in Paris, which is situated in France. So, to discuss about standard units, let us first begin with the kinds of units we are going to study. There are two kinds of units. One are the fundamental units and other are derived units. And these units are defined on the basis the quantities which are measured using these units. For instance, there are fundamental or base quantities. These quantities are those quantities which are independent of each other. What is the meaning of this sentence, independent of each other? Consider example of mass. Suppose you have to measure a sugar, mass of a sugar. You just place a sugar on a on scale. It can be digital scale, which is usually used nowadays, or can be old scale. So we, to measure mass, we just use a scale and we get a mass. For example, we get 1 kilogram. So our mass of our sugar is 1 kilogram. In this process, we don't use any other quantities to measure a mass of a object. Since we need no other quantity to measure a mass, it is the fundamental unit or a base quantity. It is the fundamental or a base quantity and is independent of all other units. So in this sense, the fundamental quantities are those which are independent of each other. And the units which used to describe these fundamental quantities are known as fundamental units or base units. There are 7 fundamental quantities which are mass, length, time, electric current, temperature, amount of substance and luminous intensity. Now, question arises, what are derived quantities? These are that quantities which can be expressed in terms of a fundamental quantities. For example, consider speed. We know what is speed. Speed is distance upon time. So what happens there? To define speed, we need two fundamental quantities. One is distance and one is time. So speed is derived from these two quantities. Similarly, force. To describe a force, we need three quantities. First is mass, other is distance, and last one is time. Because what is force? Force is rate of change of momentum, and momentum is equal to m dv upon dt. So in force we have mass, we have a velocity and time. So in other sense, when we break this into further, we can get mass, distance and time. So to define force, we need other quantities, other fundamental quantities, which are mass, distance and time. So what are the derived quantities then? The quantities which can be expressed in the terms of fundamental quantities, and the units which are used to define these derived quantities are known as derived units. So now let us talk about system of units. As I have told you earlier, to avoid confusion, we need a standard system. There are various kinds of measuring systems of measurement. For example, we have SI system of measurement, which is widely recognized throughout the entire world and also known as International System of Units. This system was developed in 1971 by General Conference on Weight and Measurements. And in this system, we have 7 base units and 2 supplementary units. Second system is CGI system, which use centimeter for length, gram for mass, and second for time. Similarly, in FPS system, which is also known as foot pound and second system, this is English system. So similarly, we also have other systems in entire worlds. But to avoid confusion during measurements and checking results, a conference of weight and measurement decided a system of unit which is known as SI units. As I have told you, there are 7 base quantities in SI units, and derived quantities are used these units for also use these units. These 7 base quantities are length, mass, time, thermodynamic temperature, electric current, amount of substance, and luminous intensity. So, what is length? Unit of length is meter and its symbol is m. Unit of mass is kilogram. Unit of time is second. Unit of thermodynamic temperature is Kelvin. Electric current is ampere. Amount of substance is mole, and luminous intensity is candela. And these are the symbols to represent these quantities. You have to remember these 7 units because it is very important to remember these basic units. Apart from these, 2 supplementary units which are involved or which are included in SI unit system of unit is radian and steradian. These are used to measure plane and solid angles. So thank you for watching this video.